High in the Andes mountains of Peru, a profound mystery lies locked in stone. Here, ancient walls stand silent watch over the valleys below. They are monuments of impossible scale and breathtaking precision. These are not the work of ordinary hands. They are the legacy of a people who seem to possess a knowledge far beyond their time. For centuries, these structures have baffled explorers, historians, scientists. They ask a simple yet profound question: who built these and how? The answers, it seems, are as elusive and as magnificent as the mountains themselves, holding secrets that challenge our very understanding of the past. We stand here today, on this day, August 23rd, 2025, to look back across the millennia. We seek to understand the civilization that raised these colossal stones. The Inca Empire is often credited with their construction, yet even they spoke of older, more mysterious builders. They told legends of giants, gods who moved the mountains with a sound. Above the ancient city of Cusco lies a structure of staggering proportions. It's called Sacsayhuaman. The name is Quechua, often translated as Royal Eagle, but its scale suggests something more. It is a fortress built not for men, but for titans. 3 immense zigzagging walls run parallel to one another for nearly 400 meters. They are constructed from gargantuan blocks of limestone and andesite. Some of these stones are estimated to weigh over 120 tons. That is the equivalent of more than 100 family cars, stacked one upon another. And yet they were moved here and lifted into place. The sheer size of Sacsayhuaman's stones is what first captures the imagination. The largest, a colossal monolith of andesite, stands over 8 meters tall. How could a civilization without wheeled vehicles, without cranes, without iron tools, possibly achieve such a feat? The official explanation suggests that tens of thousands of laborers, using little more than ropes, ramps, and raw manpower, dragged these stones from quarries miles away. Yet when you stand in the shadow of these monoliths, that explanation feels profoundly inadequate. Further into the Sacred Valley, we find another marvel of megalithic engineering. This is Ollantaytambo. It serves as a temple. It serves as a fortress. Climbing a steep mountainside, a series of magnificent stone terraces. The site is a testament to the builders' mastery over their environment, but it is the Temple of the Sun, at the very pinnacle, that holds the deepest mystery. Here, 6 enormous monoliths of pink rhyolite stand in a precise line. Close details show the texture and precision of the stone. Each one is over 4 meters high and weighs more than 50 tons. They were brought here from a quarry on another mountain, across a river and up a steep incline. The journey of these stones is a puzzle that has confounded engineers for centuries. The quarry is located nearly 6 kilometers away, on the opposite side of the Urubamba River. To move these massive blocks, the builders would have had to transport them down a mountain, across a raging river, then haul them up the steep terraces of Ollantaytambo. The logistical challenge is almost unimaginable. Archaeologists have found what they call fatigue stones, blocks abandoned en route. These stones give us clues, but they do not solve the central problem of how such immense weight was controlled and moved with such apparent ease. Beyond the grand fortresses, the mystery of the Peruvian megaliths continues in the very streets of cities like Cusco. Here, ancient walls form the foundations of modern buildings. They are a living part of the city, and they display a stone masonry technique so advanced it seems almost alien. The stones are not cut into simple squares or rectangles. They are complex, interlocking polygonal shapes, fitted together like a jigsaw puzzle of immense complexity. The most famous of these is the 12-angled stone, a single block of diorite perfectly cut to fit with 11 other stones surrounding it. This was not done for aesthetics alone. It has a practical purpose. Peru is a land of intense seismic activity. Earthquakes have repeatedly leveled the colonial Spanish architecture built on top of these foundations. Yet the megalithic walls remain standing. The interlocking, mortarless design allows stones to shift and resettle during a tremor, absorbing seismic energy. Modern engineers study and admire this earthquake-proofing. How did an ancient culture develop such a solution? The surfaces present another riddle. At Sacsayhuaman, close-ups show no tool marks. At Ollantaytambo, same absence of primitive markings. Instead, we see strange, vitrified, glassy sheens and scoop-like indentations, almost as if the stone had been softened and shaped. Archaeological experiments with Inca-era tools produced rough, crude results. A modern mason needs hours to cut a small, straight line in andesite with primitive tools. Multiply that effort across curving, perfectly fitting joints. Time and labour become implausible. To understand the stones, we must listen to the people whose ancestors lived among them. The oral traditions of the Quechua and Aymara do not speak of Inca engineers with ropes and ramps. They recount stories of the Machu, the ancient ones, or first people. These were not ordinary humans. They were giants, a race of powerful beings who possessed strength far beyond mortal men. It was these giants, the legends say, who first raised the great walls of Sacsayhuaman. These tales are not just fanciful bedtime stories. According to the chronicler Pedro Chiesa de Leon, the indigenous people told him that the giants came from the sea. Legends describe gods who moved the mountains with a sound. These legends offer a mythic explanation for a feat that seems to defy conventional human ability. Another thread involves Viracocha, the creator god who emerged from Lake Titicaca and brought astronomy and architecture to the people. When faced with the sheer impossibility of the megalithic structures, some investigators look not to giants or gods, but to a more tangible yet equally revolutionary idea: lost ancient technology. This theory proposes that the builders possessed a sophisticated scientific knowledge that has since been forgotten. They were not primitive people, but masters of physics and engineering whose methods have been lost to the sands of time. This school of thought suggests we are not looking at the work of brute force, but of advanced, subtle science. One of the most compelling ideas within this framework is the concept of stone softening. Researcher Joseph Davidovits has proposed that some of the stones are not carved, but are a form of ancient concrete or geopolymer. He suggests the builders pulverized the rock, mixed it with a chemical binder, perhaps an extract from a local plant, then cast the softened slurry into molds, where it hardened into a perfectly fitting block. This would explain the lack of tool marks and the flawless joints. Another branch focuses on acoustics and vibration. The idea that sound can levitate objects, known as acoustic levitation, is a proven principle in modern physics, albeit on a very small scale. Could the ancient builders have perfected this on a massive scale? Proponents point to legends of Viracocha moving stones with his voice. They imagine priests or engineers using sonic generators, massive chanting choirs, or specially designed instruments to create resonant frequencies that would neutralize the weight of the stones. This hypothesis challenges our linear view of history. Perhaps a highly sophisticated culture flourished in the Andes thousands of years ago, only to be wiped out by a cataclysm, leaving behind only their most durable creations, the stone walls. The survivors, without the knowledge to replicate these feats, could only look upon them with awe. When earthly explanations seem to fail, the human imagination often turns to the stars. The ancient astronaut theory is perhaps the most sensational of all the ideas surrounding Peru's megaliths. It posits that the builders were not human at all, or at least they were guided by extraterrestrial visitors. Proponents argue the leap in engineering skill required is simply too great to have occurred without outside intervention. They see the precision, the scale, the strange markings on the stones as the signature of an alien intelligence. Alien technology, such as anti-gravity vehicles or tractor beams, provides a simple, if dramatic, answer. Laser or energy weapons could carve and vitrify rock with ease. The scoop marks seen on some blocks are interpreted as the marks left by advanced quarrying machinery. In this view, Sacsayhuaman, Ollantaytambo are not just temples or forts, but perhaps landing pads, power stations or monuments built by or for celestial visitors. When the ancient people spoke of Viracocha, coming from the heavens to teach them civilization, were they describing a myth or recording a real encounter? The descriptions of gods, wielding great power, fit neatly into the narrative of benevolent aliens guiding early human development. It transforms the builders from mysterious ancestors into participants in a galactic story. For many, it is more plausible that aliens with advanced tools built these structures than that ancient humans did so with ropes and sticks. For decades, the mystery of the megaliths was a battle between mainstream archaeology and speculative theory. But now, new scientific tools are allowing us to look at the stones in ways the original builders could never have imagined. Recent geological analysis. Recent chemical analysis is providing stunning new insights, and the solution to the age-old mystery is finally beginning to emerge. It appears the answer lies not in aliens, not in giants, but in a remarkable and previously misunderstood form of ancient human ingenuity. Geologists studying the composition of the walls have made a critical discovery. Dr. Derek Cunningham, a researcher specializing in archaeoastronomy, and his colleagues have conducted microscopic analysis of stone samples from various sites. They found that many of the blocks, particularly those with the most perfect fits, contain unusual chemical binders not present in the native quarry stone. This finding lends significant weight to the geopolymer ancient concrete theory. It seems the builders were not just masons, they were master chemists. They had learned to break down the rock and then reform it, creating a superior building material. This would explain the lack of tool marks. The stones were molded, not carved. Finger impressions and scoop-like indentations could be the impressions left by woven molds. It is far easier to transport bags of stone dust and a liquid binder up a mountain than a 100-ton monolith. They dissolved them, carried them in buckets, and reassembled them where they wished. The perfect fits are the result of casting the stones in place. The discovery of this sophisticated geopolymer technology revolutionizes our understanding of the ancient Andean people. They were not simply masters of brute force, they were pioneers of material science. They were chemists. They were engineers. The legends of softening the stone were not myths, but a literal description of an advanced technique. When the Spanish conquered the region, they suppressed indigenous knowledge systems, and the secret formula was lost. And so, one of the greatest engineering secrets of the ancient world was lost for 500 years. The implications of this discovery are profound. It forces us to re-evaluate the capabilities of other ancient civilizations around the world. Perhaps other megalithic structures from Egypt to Easter Island were built using similar techniques. The stones of Peru are a powerful reminder that history is not a simple linear progression. Knowledge can be gained and it can be lost. The mystery of the megalithic builders is solved, but the wonder remains. Their legacy inspires us to look deeper, to question our assumptions, and to stand in awe of the incredible and often hidden potential of the human mind.